So let's start with the basics.
Okay.
How long have you worked at NFL Films?
18 years since 1995. Only place I ever worked.
Awesome. Tell us about your role in the planning of the Super Bowl.
I'm involved. I work with the head of cinematography in deciding how many cameras we're going to shoot, where we're going to shoot them from, and then what players and coaches we're going to wire.
So all year you've been in charge of working with 32 teams and deciding who gets mic'd. How do you go about that?
Well, it's a combination of who we think has a good personality, who has good storylines, and who is comfortable wearing, some people are really uncomfortable wearing a wire, so we try not to force anyone against their will. So it's really, we're working with the teams, making sure we're all on the same page.
What's the most challenging part about that, and what's the most rewarding?
I think the most rewarding part is when someone we've wired has a great moment. I'm thinking back to when Matt Stafford separated his shoulder. He was wearing a wire for us. He came back, he threw the game-winning touchdown with a separated shoulder. We got the footage back here, and we were all pretty excited to see what great material we got. I think the challenging part is how to use that material when something goes horribly wrong. We don't want to embarrass any players or coaches. So,
how many people are going to be mic'd for this year's Super Bowl?
I'm not sure yet. Still talking to the teams. They haven't, we won't talk about it until they get down there and start practicing. Anywhere probably from 3 to 6.
How many NFL cameras are going to be covering this year's game?
Well, we won't have as many, NFL Films won't have as many cameras as CBS, which probably will have 60, but we'll have somewhere in the 30 camera range, combination of slow motion, top, ground, sound, and wires.
And what's the process after the game is over? What do you do with the footage? How do you get it back here? And then what do you do once you have it here?
The footage, most of it is film, so it still has to get back here and get processed. So all the film gets gathered up immediately, flown back right after the game, and then we have all our producers go through all that material ASAP on Monday to trim every camera's 3 hours of footage, to trim it into 40 usable working minutes, and then we edit it pretty much Tuesday to air on Wednesday.